Have you ever felt overlooked or undervalued, despite your efforts and contributions? Imagine being married to someone who doesn't love you, always overshadowed. What would you do if you found yourself in such a situation, longing for affection and recognition? Leah, a key figure in the Bible, lived this reality. She was the elder daughter of Laban, thrust into a marriage with Jacob through deception, and constantly lived in the shadow of her beautiful sister Rachel. Despite these challenges, Leah's story is a powerful testament to how God listens to and cares for the unloved and despised, showing his compassion and justice throughout their life. In Leah's case, despite being less favored by her husband Jacob, God saw her suffering and responded with tangible blessings. Leah's situation from the beginning was marked by neglect and overshadowing within her own family. As the eldest daughter of Laban, she lived in the shadow of her more beautiful and beloved younger sister, Rachel. This dynamic came to a head when Jacob, who had fallen in love with Rachel, worked 7 years to marry her. On the wedding night, however, Leah was deceitfully substituted in Rachel's place by their father, Laban. Jacob did not realize this switch until the following morning, leading to his deep disappointment and anger. Despite this, Jacob was persuaded to work another 7 years to marry Rachel, resulting in Leah being married to a husband who did not love her. In this polygamous marriage, Leah faced the constant pain of knowing she was second in Jacob's affections. This emotional turmoil was compounded by societal norms that valued women primarily for their ability to bear children and their beauty. Leah's lack of her husband's love and the constant comparison to her sister created a challenging and heartbreaking situation from the outset of her marriage. When the Lord saw that Leah was unloved, he enabled her to conceive, while Rachel remained barren. This act of opening Leah's womb was a direct response to her plight and a sign of divine compassion. Leah herself acknowledged this when she named her firstborn son Reuben, saying, "Because the Lord has seen my misery, surely my husband will love me now." Genesis 29 verse 32. Each subsequent birth reinforced that God was actively involved in her life, providing her with solace and honor through her children. God's actions in Leah's life reflect a broader theme of divine justice. In a culture where a woman's worth was often tied to her ability to bear children, Leah's fertility was a source of status and security. By blessing Leah with many children, God elevated her position in the household and countered the neglect she experienced from Jacob. This divine intervention highlights how God cares for those who are marginalized or treated unjustly, ensuring that they receive recognition and blessing. Leah's story is filled with moments where God listened to her unspoken cries and responded. For instance, after the birth of her second son, Simeon, Leah said, "Because the Lord heard that I am not loved, he gave me this one too." Genesis 29 verse 33. The name Simeon means, "one who hears," directly reflecting God's attentiveness to Leah's emotional and social needs. This pattern continued with the births of her other children, each name reflecting her gratitude and recognition of God's ongoing support. Leah's life encourages those who feel unloved or despised to turn to God for comfort and support. Her story illustrates that God's love is not dependent on human affection or societal status. Instead, God values and uplifts those who are overlooked by others. Leah's praise of God, especially after the birth of her fourth son Judah, whose name means praise, shows a shift in her focus towards finding fulfillment and identity in her relationship with God rather than in her husband's love. Leah's experience is part of a broader biblical theme where God shows a particular concern for the marginalized, the oppressed, and the downtrodden. Throughout the Bible, God consistently demonstrates his care for the vulnerable, whether through his laws protecting widows and orphans, his prophets advocating for justice, or his direct intervention in individuals' lives. Leah's story is one of many examples where God's actions affirm the worth and dignity of those whom society might overlook. In summary, Leah's narrative in the Bible is a profound example of how God listens to the unloved and despised. Through his blessings and support, God demonstrated his deep compassion, justice, and commitment to those who suffer. Leah's life serves as a testament to the enduring truth that God's love and favor extend to everyone, regardless of their status or how they are treated by others.